Hello, 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 and good morning, all of you beautiful nerds from around the world. Welcome to the morning stream here on the Den of Nerds Live. On today's show, we're going over some Shang-Chi rumors and an old plot leak that our buddy Charles Murphy just published on his website. He thinks this thing could be legit. Are we getting Fang, Foom in the MCU? I've got to know. We've got to speculate about that. I'm also bringing on executive producer Al Schuler. He's going to be joining the show. We're going to be talking a little bit about that Shang-Chi business, and we're going to talk some Star Wars stuff. Everything's crazy with the Star Wars fandom, but is it as bad as it seems? I don't know. We'll get into that with Al. I also want to go into the theater. I want to show you guys a trailer for another upcoming Marvel mobile game, something that I'm really excited about, actually. I'm hoping maybe some of you will get on that game and play it with me, so we'll spend some time checking out that game and talking about it, and we'll save some time for Q&A at the end of the stream. How is everybody doing this morning? What's up, everybody? I see you coming in here. I see Captain Pennsylvania, Coachella, Sagi, Renee, Jason, Maverick, Jared the Loveberry, Yinzer Jim. What's up, Yinzer Jim? Love that name. Alex is here. 2nd Street Marvel. Brian, Hector, Ryan, Josh Mason, Dead Weight. Holy cow. Happy Friday to all of you beautiful people. Happy Friday to you guys. How you guys doing, man? How's the week for you? How's the week, man? Man, what a slow news week, man. I tell you, we were expecting huge things yesterday. Huge things. There was supposed to be that Disney Plus show where they're going to show all this exclusive footage. All this exclusive stuff was going to come out yesterday. And instead they were like, no, we're going to delay that. We're not doing it. And then none of the footage happened. I'm sitting by the computer. I'm checking it out yesterday. I'm like, yo, what's going on? What's going on? Really hoping we get some of that info. And none of it came out. None of it came out. Kind of a bummer. Chet better be on point today. You hear that, Chet? You better be on point today, mother effer. Better be on point, man. I tell you what. All right, guys, so I want to get right into our first little topic here. I want to talk about a little thing that's going on, okay? So we're just going to talk about that, and then we'll bring in Al Schuler because I'm curious as to his thoughts about this as well, okay? Now, this is coming from one of our buddies, Charles Murphy. He's talking about how the recent little tidbits of news and all this stuff could hint to Fin Fang Foom being in Shang-Chi. Okay, so I'm going to go read from his article right here, but I will warn you, the article just talks about how recent casting calls and some things that he has heard kind of make it seem like this old plot leak could be correct, and then he lists this plot leak. Okay, so we're going to go over this little plot leak here and see. Chet, where's it at? Chet, what do you mean? This is your one job for the day. You're supposed to have this here. This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable to me. How is this not here? Oh my God, Chet, you had one job to do today. Chet, I'm a little bit frustrated with you, buddy. I'm a little bit frustrated with you. Now I have to go find the article. You're killing me. You are killing me. Oh, for goodness sakes, Chet. Now, look, everybody, it's all awkward in here now. Everybody's like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Jeez Louise, man. Jeez Louise. Oh, my God. And now I can't even find the freaking article. You're killing me, Chet. I need that rage meter. I need that rage meter real bad. Oh my goodness. Good God, Chet. How is it this bad? How is it this bad? Why do I have to do this much thinking? This early in the morning. Where did this thing go? Did it completely disappear? Did it completely disappear? Huh? What? What do you mean? Uh-oh. That's probably about you. That's probably about you. Okay, hang on, guys. One second, real quick. Hello, yes. Den Nerd's offices. Yeah. Godfather, hey, yeah, no, hey, what's going on, buddy? What's going on? Oh, yeah, no, I know. Look, I know it's embarrassing. Yeah, I know. I'm really trying here. No, I know. Ridiculous. Do you want me to send him home? You want me to send him home? Okay. Got it. Okay, yep, no problem. All right, Chet. Stand up. That's the door. See ya. We'll handle the rest. Bye. Okay, take care. Yep, we'll see you next week. All right, guys, I got it pulled up here on my own. Okay, so several months ago, an alleged plot leak for the upcoming Marvel Studios feature film Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings indicated that the titular character would enter into an underground kung fu tournament in order to win the legendary 10 Rings. Well, over the past couple of months, I've been able to uncover evidence in the form of casting calls that might support the leak. First, a call went out for a ringside fighter announcer, and that was followed by calls for actors with martial artist experience and professional wrestlers. Now, a third new character description has surfaced that seems to follow the trend. The Shang-Chi movie is looking for a male to film a one-scene cameo in which he will live stream the film's main characters as they enter into what is described as a large-scale fight. The character is named Kane and is traveling with the main characters on a bus when the fight occurs. Could this bus trip be taking the characters to a location for the underground tournament? We'll have to wait and see, but as you can see, that this tournament, as you can see, for sure, that there is a lot of evidence to suggest that this tournament leak is not purely fan fiction. Okay, and so now I want to read over this tournament leak for just a second here, because the thing that's really interesting about this leak is the alien spaceships and the mention of Fang Foom. Okay, so let's get into this and let's bring Al in here and talk about it. It says right here, an alien spaceship landed in China hundreds of years ago. The ship was powered by the 10 rings, magical relics that all serve a different purpose. The rings were looted by a secret society known as the Avatars, which is led by a wise martial artist simply called the Ancestor. The Ancestor wore the rings and used them to become an expert fighter. It says the Mandarin grew up hearing about the Ancestor story and was fascinated by it. Despite everyone else believing it was just a myth, he began to idolize the Ancestor and devoted his life to finding the rings. This inspired him to form his own mafia, which is the 10 Rings Gang. Basically, the point of the gang is to look for the rings all around the world. He adopted his niece, Fao Loi Su, who is Aquafina, and taught her martial arts. After years of investigation, he discovered that the legend of the 10 rings are real and that the Ancestor is dying. There was a little leak a while back that Shang-Chi is a tournament film, and that's actually true. When the Ancestor dies, the Avatars will run a secret tournament / kung fu trial in which the winner will be granted the rings. The Mandarin is too old to compete, and he doesn't want to risk Fao Lu Su's life, and that's where Shang-Chi comes in. Shang-Chi is a direct Urshan who meets the Mandarin after he starts dating Fa. The Mandarin takes a liking to Shang and starts training him as his apprentice. He first asks, as an act of the gang initiation, to go kill Trevor Slattery for impersonating the Mandarin. When the tournament begins, the Mandarin will send Shang-Chi to win and get the rings from him. That'll be the basic gist of the film. We know that defeating Fang Foom will be an obstacle. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so that is the plot leak. Now, what's interesting about that is it's a little bit different than some of the other leaks we've been talking about, right? Mostly no mention of MI6, okay? So there could be some differences going on here between the two things. One could be complete bullcrap. Also, it's important to note that a lot of these stories change over time. So depending on what's going on with production, they'll change things, they'll adjust things. The main reason I wanted to talk about that one is because it's one of the only leaks out there that actually refers to what is going on with the 10 rings. When we looked at the last Shang-Chi plot leak, I was like, how is this going to work? how are the 10 rings involved? Why would the Mandarin, if he has the 10 rings, do a tournament that gives away the 10 rings, right? That's something that was confusing to me. However, this explanation makes a little bit more sense. If the Mandarin created the 10 rings as his like gang or his mafia, and there's this character known as the Ancestor, and that character has the 10 rings, but is dying and wants to give the 10 rings to somebody new, that would make a little bit more sense for what was going on with the tournament. And this whole idea of this alien spaceship and Fin Fang Foom, because if you don't know, Fin Fang Foom is actually an alien shapeshifter, and he literally takes the shape of a dragon, and that's just some wild Marvel Comics crap, right? And so could it be a thing where this will be the catalyst for the tournament? That the 10 rings are actually not in control of the Mandarin at the beginning of the film, and that's what he's looking to do. This would be another big change from the comics, because in the comics, the Mandarin does have the 10 rings. And this would be a very interesting sort of dynamic between the character of the Mandarin in the comics and the character of the Mandarin in the movies. I don't know how I'm feeling about that, but all I know for sure is that I definitely need to see Fin Fang Foom in this film. That's what I know for sure. And so I'm curious what you guys are thinking. Let's look into the chat. Let's see what everybody's saying. Maverick says, all I want is Iron Monkey in the tournament somehow. Hey, that would be cool. Fin Fang Foom is Dragoon confirmed. Oh, Drogon confirmed. Game of Thrones crossover. Dan Nerd saved me during the lead up to Endgame. Just a thought I'd share. Well, hey, man, I appreciate that. I don't know how he saved you, but I appreciate that. So the Mandarin isn't his dad, RG says. Well, I don't know. That plot leak that Charles just brought up is actually mentioning that they won't be related, okay? That it's going to be sort of a mentor-mentee relationship, right? But other plot leaks have suggested that they will be related. A lot of that goes back to that old casting call. And I mean, who knows for sure, right? A lot of people extrapolate a lot of information about all of that. And we never really know for sure what is going on with that. I'm thinking he's a damn dragon. Let's do it. Nice. Save me from work almost every day. Jacob's in the building. Jacob, you're going to like where we're going soon, because we're going to bring Al in here and we're going to talk some Star Wars. Captain Pennsylvania says, I don't care who's in the movie. Just give me Kung Fu. Yeah, no, I think that the Kung Fu part of that is going to be very, very sweet. And now, guys, we got to shift the camera over. I got to do it all myself because Chet's out of here already. Let's put this on here. And we're going to bring in executive producer Al Schuler to the show. Al, what is going on? What is up, brother?
What's going on, man? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday indeed, my friend. How are you this fine Friday?
Sir. Dude, it's been a long week, man. Long week, but happy to make it to Friday, dude. Can't wait for this weekend.
I know, dude. Dude, it's been such a weird week. The news is so slow right now. So slow right now. It's killing me. We were supposed to get all that info from that Disney Plus thing, and we got nothing.
Yeah.
We got nothing. Yeah. But I want to ask you right off the bat, how are you feeling about this Shang-Chi movie? What do you think about Shang-Chi, and what do you think about the plot leak that we just went over? Are you buying it? Are you selling it? What's up?
It sounds dope to me. I'm not really a big fan of Shang-Chi, so everything that I'm hearing is kind of hitting me brand new, and I'm like, I can dig it. I definitely though think we're gonna get Fin Fang Foom. That sounds like a Kevin Feige move, and something like a wow factor type thing that would like really hook people and bring them in. Aside from the fact that it's going to be a freaking kung fu flick. Are you serious right now?
Yeah.
Like, I cannot wait to see this movie. Like, I think it's going to be dope, bro.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think it's going to be one of the coolest, unique Marvel things to come out in a long time. It's just the fact that it is Kung Fu is really, really interesting to me. But yeah, I agree, man. I really need to see Fin Fang Foom. I hope he has the purple shorts, too. I hope he has the goofy purple shorts.
That's what's up.
From the comics. That would be great for me. But Al, I wanted to bring you in today mostly to talk some Star Wars, man.
Oh,
Star Wars has been pretty wild right now. There's a lot of stuff going on. Look, I'm excited about what's going on. I think High Republic is dope.
Mhm.
I actually like some of the things coming out of the Rise of Skywalker novelization, but I'm definitely not in denial of what other fans are thinking and how other fans are feeling. But let me just ask you, just straight up, how are you handling all this Star Wars stuff? Like, where are you at with Star Wars currently right now?
Yeah, I'm honestly, man, it's like every time we get news, I'm just like, what happened? Like it's just it just seems like from a leadership perspective, dude, they just can't get it right. And it's not that they're totally screwing stuff up. It's just the mistakes that they're making are like enough to allow like the crazy fanboys to just pile on. And it's almost like you can't really be mad at them because it makes sense. Like the whole thing with the High Republic and them saying it's not going to be connected to the movie. It's like, what? So now it's just going to be its own standalone thing. Like, how does that work? And
Yeah,
it just that, and then they talk about what was the most recent one?
the
Uh,
clone, the
the
father's
clone, yeah,
clone.
yeah, the clone, the Palpatine thing with the dad, and I'm just like, okay, wait, what? And
Yeah.
then my initial reaction to it was I was like, this is stupid. Then I got to thinking about it, and I'm like, well, it kind of makes sense, but why the hell wouldn't you have put it in the movie? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
put it in the movie.
Yeah, totally. So I agree with a lot of what you're saying, man. It's like I can't tell how much they're actually screwing up and how much the perception of everything has just changed
Hmm.
to where it almost doesn't matter. Like anything they do gets painted in this negative light. And that's why, I did the rant yesterday and I really do believe and some people were a little upset about me doing that rant or whatever. And it's like, guys, I'm not one of these people that's like, Kathy's got to go and all this stuff like in a crazy frantic way. I've
Hmm.
always just looked at it from a business perspective. And look, I think right now it's more clear than ever that like we as a fan base, I think, and when I say we, I really do mean we. Like a lot of the times we like to say, oh, those people aren't fans.
Right.
These people aren't fans. And we want to try to say that we're the only ones that are fans. Guys, even the people, in the Fandom Menace, the Raylos, all these different people, that's us. We're the Star Wars fans. And so I think we, as a fan base, there are going to be those of us in this fan base that are not going to be able to let stuff go
Hmm.
unless there is a new. I don't want to say like necessarily a leader, but really you just need to have fresh life breathed into this. You got to have fresh life breathed into this. You need people to let it go and not just hold the sins over everything that has happened so far over the head of what happens next. You know what I mean? So, look, I'm of the
100%.
mind that I'm just happy we're getting Star Wars. Like, I really am. Like, I'm happy we're getting Star Wars, but I'm also like, holy shit, things need to change.
Yes.
Because just the trends I'm seeing right now are not very positive, and they could lead us into like a really bad situation. And I know some people are like throw their hands up at that and they're like, I'm just gonna ignore all this stuff that's going on over here. I don't think
Hmm.
that's healthy either, dude. Like we just I don't know, we need something new. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. But you were saying that like you actually appreciate and kind of like some of the stuff that was going on with the clone stuff. And yeah, you
Yeah.
would have loved to have that in the movie.
Yeah. If you would have laid out the fact that Ray's dad was actually a failed Palpatine clone in the movie, then it would have made a whole lot more sense just from a storytelling standpoint. And I think that would have been even more dope to even explore, or something that would leave you wanting to explore it later on. Like part of what makes Star Wars cool to me is the fact that not only do they give you these great stories, but there's nuggets within that story that make you go, damn, I want them to go explore that more.
Mm,
And the whole situation with Palpatine is like, him coming back, they gave you no context, so there was nothing to really hold on to because you really didn't know what the story was on how he was able to survive. They give it to you
right.
in the book apparently, and now you're like, well, I would have loved to see that on screen, considering this was the last movie in the Skywalker saga. Like you would think the last movie in the saga would give you just about everything it possibly could. And it just really, the more you hear about it and the more you hear about the novelization, it really seems like they kind of just held back because they were honestly afraid of how the movie was going to be received. So they played it super safe, and and gave us what the Rise of Skywalker that we got, which I like. Again, don't get
Right.
me wrong, I like the movie, but I would have loved to have seen this version. So it just makes me wonder, and I totally agree with you on the thing, on the thoughts about where we are with the fandom now. Like, I feel like at this point, the only thing that is going to galvanize us and put us back in the place that we need to be as a fandom is they've got to cut the head. They've got to cut the head off and just say, you know what, it's a fresh regime, and then they've got to do something. Like, if it were me, I'd make that change, and then I'd come into Celebration this year
with
with like
fresh.
a targeted game plan and say, you
Yeah.
know what, I'm introducing Feige, or I'm introducing, Favreau and Filoni as the new kind of like corporate or head leadership of Disney Lucasfilm. And then this is what we're laying out for you. Give me some dope Mandalorian season 2 stuff.
Right.
Tease some really cool stuff on the video game front. Give us an idea of what you're shooting for with these movies that are coming out in the next couple of years. And then like give us something that's gonna re-salivate us all to get us like, let's go, like let's get hype. It's like I don't even feel that hype when Star Wars news comes out now. It's like I'm immediately going, okay, what's the backlash?
Yeah.
And it's just like it's not cool, bro. It's just not cool.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely agree. And at this point, I think honestly, if they were to let her go or put somebody else in charge, I don't even think a lot of the people that were defending her during the last couple of years, I don't even think that that crowd is really going to be that vocal about her stepping
No,
down. Like, I think there's even people that have been really happy with the sequel trilogy. Look, nobody, here's the thing. I don't think anybody's happy with where we're at right now.
right.
And I know that different people have their like where they want to put the blame, and I know a lot of us tend to look at the other fans and see like how people are reacting or what, YouTubers are doing or whatever, and just being like, "Oh, you're ruining it. You're doing all this stuff." But ultimately, guys, like really all of that should be laid at the feet of the leader of the organization. And I really think that it's a tricky situation because the money is still there, right? So even Rise of
Mhm.
Skywalker makes over $1 billion. And I think it's totally fair to point out that people are, you know, I don't know. I think it's totally fair to point out that people are right into assuming that it's still making money. It's still doing all of that,
You're
right?
right. Mhm.
But I don't know, man. Like, I think we can all just feel that it's different. I think we can all just feel that we need a big change. And so I don't even think there would be that much of a backlash to it anymore. And going back to the High Republic thing, and I know I've talked about this before, but it's really weird to me that they make that announcement before they make the announcement of like who's going to be doing the next
Right.
films, what's the news for the films, and I think that just leaves them in a spot where a lot of bad assumptions can be made. And it was really interesting to see all the different kind of people that are normally pretty positive on things kind of go the negative route with it and be like, wow, like this is why didn't you do this for the movies? Oh, comics and books, great, but who cares? And all that stuff, right? So it's
Mhm.
like you can see that the perception has just slowly changed. And yeah, I think that they really should make that change. Let me ask you this. Do you think Bob Chapek coming in, and do you think Bob Iger stepping down, do you think that will facilitate Kathy's exit or what?
It could. I'm hoping it does. And it's not that I'm, totally anti Kathleen. We've talked about this time and time again. I feel like as the head of Disney Lucasfilm, she bears the burden of responsibility. So it falls, like you said, it falls at her feet. So hopefully, dude coming in will facilitate that change. But I honestly don't know because I don't. It's hard to even gauge how Disney feels about where Lucasfilm is right now. Like obviously they realize there's a problem and that they need to address it, but my concern is, do they feel like it's a we just need to tweak some things problem, or do they realize that the house is on fire and that the fandom is going crazy and that they've got to do something to kind of steady the ship now? the,
Mm,
the funny thing, it reminds me a lot of like in basketball, you've got teams like that are constantly getting to like the conference finals but can't ever get to the finals, right? And it's like, oh no, we just got to tweak this and we'll get rid of this player and add this one. Still can't get there. Still can't
yeah,
get there.
yeah,
And it's like eventually you got to look at the coach and go, bro, no, it's not gonna work. And that's they're at that point with Kathleen. It's like at this point, it's almost like we need a fresh voice, and we need something that is going to have people excited again about the possibility of Star Wars. Because right now, we're all, even us that are not really considered fandom menace, are basically poking holes in every story that we get instead
Yeah.
of just really enjoying what we're getting. It's like we're nitpicking, and some of it is definitely rightly so. But it's like I think the tone would be a lot different if it weren't covered under, or if it wasn't coming from the Kathleen Kennedy regime. Like if we knew this was like I feel like the High Republic announcement, right?
Yeah.
When that came out, had Favreau and Filoni been like in charge by that point, I think the
Uh,
reception of
yeah.
that would have been completely different. It
Yeah,
still
I
would have
agree.
been
I
it still
agree.
would have been bummy that it's not connected to the movies, but
Yeah.
it would have been a different reception altogether. And I think that's what Disney Lucasfilm is missing, is that people are just it's the same stale voice coming from leadership, and we're like, we've seen what you can do already. We don't
Yeah.
want any more of that.
Yeah,
So
and I see a lot of people in chat saying that like they're very happy, they're fine with it, like, people just need to embrace change and all of that. And like guys, like I don't know how many times I can say this. I totally agree with you. I get what you're saying, but at the same time, you just can't deny that things are in a ridiculous spot right now. And we can't just tell everybody that has a problem with Star Wars to go fuck themselves. That's not going to work. That's not how you build a fan base. Like
right,
what we need is we need to get more to the MCU side. We want all the fans to be happy. And are they going to say things that we don't agree with? Absolutely. Like that's just fandom. But like right now, Star Wars is trending in a way that is not good. And you can't just say like, "Oh, well, all these people are just ridiculous and wrong and crazy." I don't think so. Like I think we need why wouldn't you want people to be very excited? Why wouldn't you want all of us to be very excited about what is coming next? And so it's like it's a weird battle right now because I get it because like I get it. Star Wars fans are a lot of our fans here are very positive and very happy on it, and I get that, and I get their frustrations with things. Trust me, I'm probably the most frustrated because I live in this space so much, and I have to talk about it all the time and do all of that. It's just it's a rough scenario, and I totally get where people's heads are at. But at the end of the day, I really do believe that change is needed. I don't think it's going to work to just keep moving forward. You know what I mean? I don't. I think you need a big change to bring people back in. If for no other reason than the fact that, like, as I've said before, if you look around at the people like John Campea
hmm
these days, man, John Campea is crapping on some Star Wars, like hard. And obviously, this is a guy that really didn't like Rise of Skywalker, right? I'm
right.
I'm on the opposite end of that. I really liked Rise of Skywalker, but we just can't deny that the way things are going right now is pretty bad. And I don't think that we do anything, or I don't think we're going to get better with this unless we get some kind of a big change up. You know what I mean?
100%. And I think for me, and it was like at first I was one of those people that was like, no, those are just the whiners and fanboys that are complaining. But the more I talk to people who are casual, that don't like follow it the way that we do,
Yeah.
they all have kind of the same sentiment as well. They're like, it's getting stale. Like the Rise of Skywalker was okay,
Yeah.
but it was kind of like that crash landing. Like JJ was barely able to make it kind of work. And they all feel like, and maybe it's because of the way stories are being put out in the media, but they all point the finger at Kathleen Kennedy too. It's like she's got to go. And my thing is, when casual people who don't really get into it the way that we do know who Kathleen Kennedy is and
Yeah.
are saying it's her fault because she's the leader, then I'm like, okay, yeah, might be time for us to get a new voice up there. And if for no other reason, again, than to give the perception that they're aware. Because right
Right.
now it seems like they're just completely naive, and they're just like, hit them with more content, hit them with more announcements, hit them with this. And it's like, no, 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 no. That's not what we're asking for. We're asking for better quality content. And if
Yeah.
she's the one making those decisions, then hey, sorry, she's had a good run, but it's time for a change.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. And I see a lot of people, just talking about positivity and stuff in the chat. Let's switch the conversation up just a little bit and let's speculate a little bit about High Republic. We've been, talking about the behind the scenes stuff, but frankly, a lot of people are pretty pumped about High Republic, especially people here in the chat. So, what's your impression? I haven't really talked to you too much about High Republic. Is there anything particularly that you're really into? Like, what are you thinking about High Republic in general?
2 words, bro. Wookie Jedi's.
Yeah.
I'm like immediately that jumped out because we've seen the Padawans in Clone Wars and stuff like that, but it's like, oh snap, we really gonna get to see these dudes in action. Like I
Yeah.
cannot wait for that. But like on a larger scale, I'm curious to see how these stories unfold and what this greater threat is supposed to be. And before they made the announcement that it wouldn't connect to the films, I was really interested to see how this kind of weaves into the stories that we know,
Yeah.
because I was thinking that it was going to be I thought the High Republic would be kind of like the overarching theme of Star Wars as they present it to us now, and that it would encompass the Skywalker saga, but that it would also be a way for them to set up what's going to happen post Skywalker saga.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, okay, so if this thing is going to be completely separate, then do you have any plans to do anything in the future after post Rise of Skywalker in the storyline, or are we just going to completely go around that, or just continue to go back and say I'm sorry, Rise of Skywalker was the end cap, so there is going to be nothing after that? Like where, and that's the problem I have with Disney Lucasfilm right now, is it's like I don't know the plan, and we don't know that
Right.
there is a plan. And so with the High Republic, though, I'm really curious to see. I want to see the Jedi kind of at their peak. That was one of the one pluses that I liked about the prequel trilogy, was the fact that you had Jedi and you had lightsabers and you had that conflict and combat. So I want to see a lot more of that with the High Republic. I'm really interested to see how they are kind of making their way through the galaxy and kind of charting the region and things like that.
Yeah.
And this conflict with the Nile is going to be really interesting too, because I I I think that what's going to ultimately happen is that it's going to be a situation where you have this fundamental difference in philosophy, and it leads to some kind of a rift in the Jedi. Because
Yeah.
I think this Nile threat is going to be something that the parts of the Jedi are going to feel like they just have to eradicate, like they've got to get rid of all of them. And
Yeah.
then you're
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
have some that are saying, no way, we can't go that far. We've just got to control this. And that's where the conflict was, because what I was hoping for was that actually spawned kind of some Jedi defecting, and that was the thing that the Jedi were afraid of, is like dissension among the ranks,
Yeah.
and it leading to another dark side, light side, like war.
Yeah.
And I was hoping that maybe it was a situation where you had Jedi who kind of felt like Anakin did, where he's questioning whether the Jedi's point of view is the right way, and that they
Mm.
go seeking the dark side and uncover this hidden Sith, or they go uncover these secrets where that and basically lead them to turn, where ultimately what I was hoping for was that we realized that what happened with Anakin is the same thing that's been happening to Jedi century after century, is that eventually one of them gets tempted and turns to the dark side because they end up questioning the Jedi, and that's just the nature of the Force. But
Gotcha.
now I don't really know, how that's going to work, but it's still going to be interesting for me to see where they take it. And I'm
Yeah.
definitely going to be into these books, especially if it's going to kind of connect with the games, because I'm all into that connectivity thing. So I'm pumped for it. I still want to see it and see
Yeah.
what they do with it. Just curious to see what it means for Star Wars overall.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So a couple of things. First of all, the Nile aren't really around in canon that we know of. So they essentially have to be taken out in some way, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like maybe we could run into like a small tribe of them overall, but if they're like this big threat to everything, in the galaxy, then they must probably be eradicated. The thing that I'm most looking forward to is this whole idea of like, what are the Sith doing during this time period?
Mm-hmm.
And they've been teasing a lot. And we did the theory on Star Wars Sunday last week. It was a really good video. Everybody should go check that out. Breaking down this big secret that Yoda might have, and this
Mm-hmm.
idea
Yeah.
that if Yoda was on some kind of a crusade to eradicate these Sith gods or to eliminate the Sith that they had, and then they basically just hide that from the Republic, if they just basically hide that from even the Jedi of the prequel era, that would be really interesting. And, I sort of went into this in the video where
Mm-hmm.
it's like, look, how does Yoda even know about the rule of two, right? that's never really explained in canon, but this could be the explanation for that. And
Hmm.
I really love that idea because there could be all these hidden stories that are happening between the Jedi and potentially the Sith. Because, 200 years before Phantom Menace, you could see Darth Tenebrous, you could see Darth Plagueis working there. Also, really interesting is what if the Sith and the Jedi have to actually work together against these Sith gods or something like that? So that's kind of what I'm most excited about is these interesting sort of stories that potentially retcon this whole idea that there were no Sith around that time. You know what I mean? But
Got you.
if Yoda's got that big secret and he's been keeping that a secret, like, hell yeah, like sign me up for that.
Yes, sir. And the thing that's interesting too, when what I thought about immediately when they said that Yoda was going to be a part of the High Republic, I've always wondered at the end of Revenge of the Sith, after he fights Palpatine and he jumps in the car when they're taking off, he says, "Failed I have, into exile I must go."
Yeah.
I always felt like there was more to that statement. Like that this wasn't just I didn't beat Palpatine, so now I've got to go into exile. I think, and when I was watching your video, I thought about that same thing because I was like, dude, what if that was his failure? Was that
Right.
he decided, you know what, we're going to wipe them out, and then we won't even put this in the Jedi archives because we don't even want anyone to know that this has happened. And it's my job to protect this secret and ensure that they do not return because that's going to open up a can of worms that we just ain't ready for.
Yeah.
And then if it turned out to be that then Palpatine the whole time was kind of manipulating things and Yoda didn't realize it, then that would give like that statement and that whole kind of situation a lot more weight, I think, because it would be like, again, this wasn't just an isolated thing where this Sith was manipulating everybody. This is a part of kind of a larger plan within the Force itself to a degree, and that's what I was hoping for, and hopefully there is some kind of a connection at least from that standpoint to where we do see that like Yoda's got some secrets that we don't know about, because I feel like if he's just around, then it's kind of hollow to me. But if there's something that like ties him where there's a significant reason or a significant event that only Yoda is aware about come the rise once we get to the Skywalker period, then that to me would be amazing, dude. Like that, I would love to see that story and see kind of how he reconciled, like not just putting that away and not ever bringing it up again.
Yeah, and it's funny. Star Wars Santa brings this up in chat. He says if you watch season 6 of Clone Wars, Yoda completely hides what he saw. Yeah, I mean he does. He completely hides that whole like seeing Sidious, all of this stuff. He knows that some of it's happening, right? And so he's keeping it a secret at least. So look, that would be really cool. I'm very excited for that. I'm also just frankly excited to get some manga. Like going into Phase 2, they said that Viz Media thing there, and I really love the Star Wars manga adaptations, and to get some Star Wars manga and just having new characters and stuff like this is all the stuff that we should be talking about, should be excited about. But I want to do, just because we're running low on time here, I want to go into the theater and I want to show you guys a trailer for another upcoming Marvel mobile game. This is something I'm really into. Al, I'm going to leave you on the line, but I won't have you on camera while we're doing this.
Okay.
But then you and I can talk a little bit about this game at the end of the show before we get out of here, okay?
Cool.
Let's pull this up. Everybody come into the theater. Trickle on in. And let's get this. Now, this came out a couple of days ago, and honestly, Maverick kind of brought this up to my attention, but I got an email from these people either way here. So let's watch this trailer. This is in-game footage, guys.
No matter how many fights you've won, there are still times when it feels like the world is crashing down on you. And on days like this, it actually is.
Very cool.
This may look like the end, but at least I don't have to face it alone.
wild, dude.
Real heroes have each other's backs.
This is
And
where it
when the
gets
time
really
comes
wild.
to risk our lives, we do it side by side. No
It's punk rock
questions asked.
Spider-Man.
What?
It's punk rock
Okay.
Spider-Man, Al.
Okay.
It's like futuristic Miss Marvel version of Captain Marvel.
Oh,
It's like Count
When it's all falling
Doctor
apart,
Strange, Dracula, dude.
that's when you stand together. We have a plan. Join us. Because this
Look at that.
is
Spider-Man,
not
too.
just a fight. This is a revolution.
Whoa. Future Revolution. Looks pretty dope.
okay. Yeah.
Look, here's the thing that's crazy about this. And the reason I wanted to bring this up, and we'll get back into the chat and let's bring Al back on screen. Look, man, here's the deal. Those graphics to me look better and look cooler than even what we're getting in that Square Enix Marvel's Avengers game. What?
I knew that's where you were going, dude.
I
knew
know,
that's
and I'm
where
trying
you
not
were
to crap
going.
on that game. Look, here's the deal. I'm definitely going to get the Marvel $60 console outdated model game. I'm going to get it. Okay, and we're going to check it out. We're going to see how it rolls. But like these mobile games, that's crazy. That's in engine.
Wow.
In engine.
Look, I mean, just I'm getting to that point where I'm starting to consider myself to be an old head. But I look at this, I'm like, man, how far have we come, bro?
Yeah.
Like, this is just insane. And I'm digging that. Like, I'm definitely interested in learning more about that. That I don't really do mobile games as much, but that might be something I dive into. That looks dope.
Yeah, and it's so wild. And Netmarble, by the way, is a great developer. I'm playing currently their Magic the Gathering game that they did. They put out a Magic the Gathering game called Mana Strike. It's a basic tower control game or whatever. But yeah, and I see people already saying this in chat. Den of Nerds Guild, Mav was hyped on that, talking to us about it,
Oh,
the
yeah.
executive producers. And yeah, now look like a lot of people in chat are down. Guys, I'm super down. It looks really exciting. Now, I'm also really interested in that Realm of Champions, which looks very similar. That is made by Kabam, and that's, the Contest of Champions people. This is made by what's this company? Well, Netmarble, but they also did another Marvel game, Future Flight, I believe. And so, yeah, so it's like a similar engine. Look, no gameplay, but the customization looks awesome. The character models look freaking awesome. And yeah, man, we're all going to have to get on there and do a Den of Nerds clan and be the best on the planet. And so I wanted to bring that to your guys' attention. And we've got like 10 minutes, and so we'll get into a little bit of Q&A here. If you got a question for me, if you got a question for Al Schuler, drop it in. Drop the questions in. Also, have you guys filled out your battle brackets yet? Has everybody filled out their battle bracket? Al, you have not filled out yours?
Not yet. That's something that I had to take a little time to dive into. So that's going to be my evening job. I'll have mine in by tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to have mine in sometime this weekend, too. I got to figure all that out. Still a little iffy on some of the things. But yeah, definitely want to make sure that you guys get your brackets in and check that out. Star Wars Senna says, where did that hat come from?
This is a gift from my wife. She hooked it up for me for Valentine's Day. I was like, "Oh my God!"
Yeah,
so I'll have to ask her where she picked it up from. I got you, Star Wars Santa. But yeah, I love the hat. Wifey, shout out to Wifey on that one.
Yeah, shout out to the wifey for show. Let's see here. Yinzer Jim says, can a mod post the link again? I'm sure Ryan has been just waiting for someone to ask that question, and he'll drop that in for sure. I want Al Schuler to bring my gauntlet.
Got you, bro. Got
Amen.
you.
Gotcha going on. I'm doing it today. Have been going back and forth. Yeah. Oh, okay. So, wait. So, What can these games be played on tablet? Jason asked. I'm not sure about that actually. I know. I think you need access to the Google Play Store or the Apple Store, the iOS app or whatever store. So, if you have one of those and you have access to it through your tablet, which I don't know how that works exactly, but maybe you could do that. So, I don't know. To answer your question, I really don't know. Played Future Fight, pretty cool customization, but Endgame was rough. This game looks sweet though. Yeah, hoping it's cool. Hoping it has different Endgame as well. Let's see here. Funny, my oldest daughter learned how to play video games on the original Ultimate Alliance, but my other daughter learned on Ultimate Alliance too. Oh yeah, and I've heard that that's kind of what the game style is for Future Fight. You can use tablets, Captain Pennsylvania says. All right, cool.
Nice.
Can you use? Oh, you can use BlueStacks to play on your computer as well. I didn't know about that. By the way, we did get an offer. I just want to let you guys know this. We did get an offer to do a Raid Shadows Legends ad, and I was like, nah, because it's. I don't know if you know this or not, Al. It's pretty much a meme at this point, where it's like
No.
brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends.
No, I haven't seen that.
Okay, yeah. So they literally are. They hit up like everybody to try to get ads for their mobile game.
Got you. Appreciate it, but now we're good.
Nah. Jacob's Quest says, where is the next Black Widow trailer? That's a good question. I actually think it will arrive in the next week or so. There was a report that it had gotten sent out from whatever studio had finished it up. And so there was a report that it's out there in the wild and it'll probably come out in the next couple of weeks. It was announced, at least for now, that Disney is not going to delay Black Widow at all. James Bond got delayed because of all the concerns out there for health about the thing that shall not be named. Thanks, YouTube. But yeah, so I don't know. What do you think, Al? You think we're getting that trailer real soon?
I think so, man. I mean, it's a Disney film, and just kind of thinking about the fact that you've got the NBA season winding down. There's going to be a bunch of games on primetime games on ABC coming up, so they're going to have plenty of opportunity to throw one of those exclusive trailer premiere type deals together before the movie, and I'm pretty sure we'll get one of those here within the next month or so.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. And honestly, I want some kind of big draw, man. I'm getting a little nervous for this film. And, you know, I actually had this thought, and let me just run this by you.
Mm-hmm.
If the movie doesn't do that well compared to other MCU movies, do you think it's possible Disney is leaving it in that slot despite the concerns out there, and then they'll sort of blame the mediocre box office on the illness and the concerns out there? What do you think?
I think so. I think that's PR like standard practice. I think is they've already got it slotted, and they've already have a built-in excuse with all that talk. So if the movie doesn't perform, I could definitely see them pointing the finger to that and saying, "Yep, that's why the numbers for that movie weren't low." Honestly, though, I don't know if this. I mean, I know they're always going in trying to get $1 billion movie every shot.
Right.
But I don't think this is one of those. I think this is one of those movies where if it doesn't hit that mark, they won't be too upset because of where this movie is and kind of how it fits into the timeline. I think this is. I don't want to call it a throwaway movie, but I think this is one of those. Hey, we'll put this out there to see if it hits, but we're not really banking on this to be one of our top movies of the year. Like they've got stuff lined up for later on in 2020 that they already know is going to smash. So this is kind of one of those, which I felt like Captain Marvel was the same thing. And it just surprised them because it was like, holy crap, this movie made $1 billion. Okay. But yeah, I think it's going to be kind of along those same lines where if it doesn't do that well, it's not going to be kind of doom and gloom for them by any means.
Dude, yeah, I feel you. I kind of want the movie to crush, though. Like, my thing is I kind of want it to hit that $1 billion. Because, number one, I think ScarJo is awesome, and she should have deserved this film a long time ago. Like, honestly,
Facts.
It should have probably came out a long time ago. And Yinzer Jim, thanks so much for the super chat, brother. Appreciate you.
Yes,
but I
sir.
kind of hope that it just comes in and crushes because we've been on such an MCU drought that I would really like to see the MCU fan base just be like, you know, I'm I'm ready for anything Marvel. Like, I'm just excited for anything Marvel. And this is also really the calm before the storm. This is all before we go into all the crazy stuff where we're doing 4 movies a year, 5 TV shows a year. Everything's connected and it's just crazy.
Crazy.
So this is honestly, even though it's a really slow time and the news is slow and everything, it's actually just the calm before the storm where it's about to go absolutely nuts
Yes.
towards the end of the year. So yeah, I'm thinking trailer in the next couple of weeks. I don't know how much of a draw it will be. I don't know how it's all going to work, but I'm damn excited for it. And it looks like just a dope action movie in general to me. So
Yeah, no, I'm pumped to see the movie, dude. I can't wait to see that dynamic with her and her old family and kind of how that plays and how it dovetails into Endgame. Like I can't wait. And then I tell you another thing though with this movie is I think in Marvel in true MCU fashion, there are gonna be nuggets in this movie that set up things like down the line because
yeah, oh yeah.
and I feel like it's going to be another one of those Ant-Man type scenarios where or even like the Doctor Strange where there's small little things in this movie that when you after you get kind of into the next phase and you see how things are shaping up, you'll be able to point back to and go, holy shit, that's why they did that.
Yeah.
I think that's where this movie's gonna go.
Yeah, and with all of the talk of the super soldier serum playing a bigger role moving forward, it would make a lot of sense if we see that in this film and how that all works. Because
Yeah.
obviously, Red Guardian is a version of Captain America. He has at least some of the super soldier serum in him. Who knows for sure if that's what they're going to do with Taskmaster or not? I'll just be interested to see how they translate that because in the comic books, he literally can just absorb people's moves and borderline powers, although that's different in most of it's not powers, it's just abilities and stuff. But he notices it just by looking at it, right? And they've got to do something with that in the film that makes sense. Like the MCU always has this way of taking the powers and making it more realistic and things. So maybe like I saw that there was stuff on his visor that looks like Tony Stark tech. It could just be his suit and he's absorbing everything like digitally that these people do and then doing it in the suit. Like the suit allows him to do that or something like that. So that would be really cool.
Yeah, I like that.
People are still sleeping on Doctor Strange. Well, it just comes out way later. That's all that it does. Is Red Guardian able to be mind controlled like Winter Soldier? Hey, very possible.
Could be.
That could definitely be a thing. I think they're just going to sort of spin out of that with all of the the Stark sham, with all of that super soldier serum type dealios. That's what I think they're going to be doing. Let's see here. Oh, and make sure everybody goes and checks out Trinity's stream after this. The ones that always say are going to start at noon, but then end up starting a little bit after 11. Make sure you go over there and check out his stream. Let's see here. We still don't know who Taskmaster is in the movie, correct? No one has spoiled that yet. No, nobody knows who it is. Some people were saying maybe it's Clint Barton, actually. Which would be nuts. Like, I don't know if that is obviously we don't know if that's true, but like that would be absolutely nuts if they did that with Clint. Because as of now, we don't really know if he's going to be in the film. I'd love for the Budapest thing to be explained. You know what I mean? And get a little bit more of that flavor. That would be really cool. But guys, we'll do one more question before we get out of here. No. Keep him as Tony Masters.
Tony Masters.
It's got to be Tony Masters. Hey, maybe it is. I thought that leaked. Was it inaccurate? Look, nobody knows for sure. Ooh, it's Clint's brother.
Oh.
That would be really cool if it was Trick Shot. That would be sweet. That would be really sweet. I hope Taskmaster lives. Dude, I hope Taskmaster lives as well. I'm sick of our awesome villains dying.
Oh,
you know, Al, I wanted to ask you this before we get out of here.
What's up?
Did you see the leaks yesterday? What do you think? Is that Enchantress or is that female Loki in the Loki series?
Dude, I'm split. Like I really don't know. And I feel like I feel like that's gonna be not as big of a thing as we think. But if I had to guess, I would say it's more of a female Loki. And that it's gonna be something like a one-off in the episode where either it's an alternate reality or something like that. But I would put it this way: I would love to see a situation where they introduce female Loki as a mainstay. I don't think that's gonna be the case. Like I think it's gonna be maybe a couple of episode arc or something like that. But I really because I really don't know a lot about the Enchantress character. I
Yeah.
was looking at it and I was like, female Loki, got to be female Loki.
Yeah, I mean, you would think.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm torn. I'm really torn. I think Enchantress would be really cool. I also think female Loki would be cool. Like, it would be such a weird, wacky thing, but this show
Hmm.
looks to be very strange and
Yes.
very wacky. And so I could totally see that happening. And also, there's this whole thread, this idea that maybe. Maybe moving forward, we need a different Loki in the MCU. Not a different character, but a different actor. Tom Hiddleston's not going to want to do that forever. And
Yeah.
so I don't know. I'm kind of thinking that they could move forward and do either female Loki or do young boy Loki and kind of shift
Yeah.
that around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'd be down with either one of them because, like you said, Tom Hiddleston's you're not going to be able to tie him down to that role forever, and that's one of there are certain roles within the MCU that make sense for another character to inherit just based off the comics. Like having another Captain America, you can kind of get there. There's precedent for that, and it makes sense. There's certain ones, of course, you don't necessarily want to see change, and so with Loki, though, I feel like Loki is one that you could continue to refresh that character and introduce new faces for that character and it makes sense within the realm of the story.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
that's I would love for them to do that because Loki is a character that I think is a necessity at this
Yeah.
point because I feel like he's just as much an integral part of the MCU as the Avengers. So definitely keep that character around, but I have no issues with them kind of adopting a fresh face for it periodically as because again from a canon standpoint it would make sense.
Yeah, I mean, I'm totally with you, dude. I think that would be perfect. Last thing before we get out of here, I actually think, just like Captain Pennsylvania, that Taskmaster could be Conan the Barbarian. Holy crap. Wouldn't that be absolutely
Watch
insane? I
out.
think it's happening. And by the way, if Conan somehow wins the battle bracket that he is not even a part of, Captain Pennsylvania gets not only one, but 2 Infinity Gauntlets, and myself and Al
And Al
Schuler
will
will
show
fly out with 1 gauntlet each and
Yes.
present it to you because
Absolutely.
it's fucking impossible, Captain Pennsylvania. He's not even in the tournament.
All I'm saying is this, man. All this talk about Conan the Barbarian, bro. If Captain EO ain't in the next battle bracket, I'm going on strike. That's all
Yo,
I'm
by the way, I
saying.
watched that Matrix video you sent about Agent Smith. I
Yes.
gotta rethink my whole life
Dude,
now.
tell me about it, right?
Yeah,
Watching
I gotta
that-
rethink my
I
whole
told
life. That
you,
was
bro,
that
like,
was nuts.
blew me away when I saw that video, dude. I was like,
Yeah.
oh crap.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That was really cool.
definitely.
That's really cool. All right, guys, I am out of here. That's going to do it for today's show. Thank you guys so much for hanging on out. Look forward to more shows next week. Make sure you get those battle brackets in. We'll have a dope Star Wars video on Sunday, and then we will be streaming and talking about the battle bracket. Monday is the first competition, the first showdown. People will be
going down.
voting. Yeah, it's gonna be
Going
super
down.
hype. I would ask Chet to play out the outro, but he's already gone. I don't know
Justice
where he
for
put
Chet, man. Justice for Chet.
that ain't happening, bro. Not over here.
You're gonna
All
be
right,
hearing
guys.
from his representative soon, bro.
I
I'm
know
telling
we
you.
are. I know we will. It's rough. It's rough going with Chet. I take out all my.
We love him though.
frustrations.
We love you,
When
Chet.
the,
We
when
love
the
you,
news
man.
is slow, oof, I take it out on him, give him some elbows and all that. So, anyways, guys, that's gonna do it. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I will see you in the next video. And definitely go check out Captain EO if you don't know what that is about.
Do it.
Do it.